Guidelines, a 5-minute commentary on living. Here now is your host, Dr. Harold Sala.
He was a successful New York attorney with an expensive sports car, a yacht, and a broken home. His wife took the expensive home, and alimony soaked him for a large part of his income. He surprised his friends by walking away from the whole thing. What really shocked them was the fact he shaved his head, adopted the garb of a Buddhist monk, and went into a monastery. Crazy, absolutely insane, some said. But he replied that for the first time in his life, he really had peace. What I have just related is factual. It really happened. More than a few in recent years have become enamored with Buddhism along with other Eastern religions. So what's the attraction? And what is Buddhism? First, Buddhism is more of a way of life than it is an active faith. Part of the attraction of Buddhism, as it was to the burned-out attorney plagued with marital problems, is that it stands aloof from the affairs of the real world. Buddhism has no overall authority, no pope, no elaborate ceremony of conversion. One can become a Buddhist quite simply by beginning to practice the principles of the Eightfold Path, which I will describe. It requires no obedience to legalistic requirements, as does Judaism and even Christianity to a degree. It does not ask for the submission of Islam. It is not a commitment to a person, as much as it is to a way of life, which divests oneself of all worldly possessions in the search for tranquility. The ideal Buddhists are the ones who have become monks and live in solitude, or more often, in the great monasteries scattered throughout the world of Buddhism. In some countries like Thailand and Burma, virtually all Buddhist males spend at least a few weeks of their lives as monks. They regard this period as part of their formal education. One publication says, "The Buddhist monk lives a life of the utmost simplicity. He spends much of it in meditation. He owns almost no personal property and is supposed to get his food only by begging. His belongings include his robe, an alms bowl from which he has to beg food, a needle, a string of 108 beads which he counts while meditating on the qualities of the Buddha, a razor to shave his head, and a filter to strain insects from his drinking water, lest he inflict suffering on living things. The three essentials for the Buddhist monk are poverty, inoffensiveness, and celibacy, although some Buddhist sects permit their monks to marry." End quote. The founder of Buddhism, Siddhartha Gautama, who lived in the 6th century BC, developed a philosophy of life which lay between the asceticism of Hinduism, the holy man who punishes himself, and the self-indulgence of the flesh. He preferred to call it the middle way. The great difference between Buddhism and Christianity is that salvation for the Christian is not the result of doing certain required things, rather the result of accepting what Christ did when he died on the cross. Totally missing in Buddhism is the striking reality of the supernatural, when God intervenes in time and space and supernaturally sets aside the laws of the universe because he is God. Christianity was born and cradled in the supernatural. Comparing it to other religions makes the supernatural revelation of God in Christ even more striking. Neither Buddhism nor Islam claims that their founder died and rose again. Christianity does. Buddhism is a search. Christianity is an exclamation point, the intersection of man and God. You have a neighbor who says he is a Buddhist. Do you know what he believes? If you follow this series, you'll have at least a bird's-eye picture of how Buddhism differs from Christianity. You can go to our website at guidelines.org and download the whole thing. Click on the date for today. No charge, our gift to you. And you can receive guidelines by email too. Again, go to www.guidelines.org.